The 2025 Masters 1000 tournament in Shanghai was supposed to be a showcase of brilliance, the grand stage of the Asian swing, and one of the crown jewels of men's tennis. Historically, the event has stood as more than just a prestigious title. It has also been a crucial chance for players to secure ranking points at a decisive point in the season. Yet, before the first match even began, the conversation shifted away from the sport itself. The spotlight was stolen by a bombshell announcement. Carlos Alcaraz, the reigning Tokyo champion and one of the brightest stars of the modern game, would not be competing in Shanghai. His withdrawal wasn't a mere calendar adjustment, nor a casual decision. It was a deliberate move that sparked debate far beyond one tournament. Alcaraz's choice reignited the ongoing controversy surrounding the structure of the professional tennis circuit and the suffocating demands of its mandatory schedule. The decision reverberated across the sport, creating shockwaves among fans, commentators, and fellow athletes. At just 22, Alcaraz already carries the weight of multiple Grand Slam titles and has firmly established himself as one of the defining figures of global tennis. Naturally, expectations were high for him to continue his Asian campaign in Shanghai, following his triumph in Tokyo. But instead of extending his winning streak, the Spaniard decided to step back, openly citing the relentless pressures of the ADP's obligations. His frustration with the schedule had surfaced earlier in the year, but this moment brought it into sharp focus again. Alcaraz, the issue is not isolated to Shanghai or to any single tournament. It is about the bigger picture. The calendar, filled with events labeled mandatory, leaves little room for players to pace themselves, recover properly, or plan careers with longevity in mind. In stepping away, he sent a message. The current structure strips players of the freedom to manage their own energy and health. Interestingly, his stance echoed sentiments recently expressed on the women's tour. In Beijing, young WTA superstar Iga Swiatek had openly questioned the design of her tour structure. She admitted that in the future, she might choose to skip some mandatory tournaments, even at the cost of penalties, if that meant protecting her mental health and long-term balance. Alcaraz's decision in Shanghai effectively aligned him with Swiatek's view, reinforcing the notion that today's generation of stars is beginning to demand a stronger voice and more control over their schedules. He didn't hold back, criticizing the volume of mandatory tournaments and the way they are often stacked back-to-back. The outcome, he argued, is a grueling cycle that diminishes the freedom to choose. When a player of Alcaraz's stature takes such a public position, the impact goes beyond personal fatigue. It signals a broader, generational shift in tennis. The debate is no longer simply about tradition or contracts. It is about athletes seeking agency in a system designed decades earlier, under circumstances very different from today. But not every star sees the situation the same way. In sharp contrast to Alcaraz stood Jannik Sinner, the Italian prodigy and one of the few rivals consistently capable of pushing him to his limits. Fresh off a title at the ADP 500 in Beijing, Sinner entered Shanghai with confidence and calm, carrying the added role of defending champion. When asked about the ongoing debate over the calendar, Sinner's outlook diverged strongly from Alcaraz's. For Sinner, the term mandatory doesn't erase player choice altogether. In his view, there's always room to decide. Everyone thinks differently, he explained when pressed on the subject. Yes, tournaments are mandatory, but in the end, you can still choose. I will always choose what is best for me. That short but clear statement
Alcaraz,
captured
the
the
young
philosophical
tennis superstar,
divide between
faced
the
a
two rivals
controversy
who were
stemming
poised
from
to
a
define the
$20,000
next
fine
decade of
levied by
men's
the
tennis.
ATP
Where
following his
Alcaraz calls
2024
for systemic
Madrid Open
reform,
loss to
Sinner
Alexander Bublik.
emphasizes
The incident
individual
involved
responsibility.
Alcaraz's on-court
Both
frustration,
want balance,
including racket
longevity,
smashing and perceived
fairness,
disrespectful
but they
comments toward
interpret
the
the
chair
path
umpire,
to achieving
coupled
those
with his
goals
subsequent
differently.
refusal to
For
participate in the
Alcaraz,
post-match
the
interview and
system
press conference,
imposes shackles.
violating
For
ADP
Sinner,
Code of
it
Conduct
presents
Rule
options.
8.1.
One
This
demands
sparked a
change.
debate.
The
Was the
other
fine a
adapts.
justified
The
application of
Shanghai
rules to
saga
maintain the sport's
highlighted the
integrity
intricate
and media
challenge of
transparency,
designing the
or an
professional
overreaction
calendar.
targeting a
For
rising
the
star,
ADP,
potentially
mandatory
stifling genuine
tournaments like the
emotional
Masters
expression?
1000
Critics
events
argued the
are central
ATP
pillars of
overreacted to a
sports
moment of
commercial
youthful
success.
frustration from a
They
player
ensure
known
that
for his
top players
respectful demeanor,
consistently appear
while
on
defenders
court,
emphasized
which
the
boosts
importance of
sponsorship
professional
deals,
conduct and media
secures
obligations
television
for all
contracts,
players,
and
regardless of their
guarantees
status.
global audiences.
The incident
These
highlighted the
tournaments are
intense
not
pressure
just
and
athletic
scrutiny faced by
contests.
young,
They are
successful
economic
athletes.
engines.
raising
the very
questions about the
system that
balance
sustains
between
the
upholding
sport
rules and
financially
allowing for human
may
error
be
and emotional
eroding its
responses,
long-term
particularly
sustainability.
given
The
Alcaraz's
physical
age and the
and
high
mental
expectations
toll
surrounding
of
him.
nonstop
The
travel,
controversy
sudden
ultimately
surface
serves as a case study
transitions,
exploring
and
the
tightly packed
complexities of
tournaments has
athlete
long been
behavior,
criticized.
media responsibility,
Shanghai
and the
embodies
pressures
this
of achieving
tension,
early
built
success
to
in
bring
professional
tennis into the
sports,
heart of the
leaving
Asian
open the
market.
question of
The
whether
event is
Alcaraz's response
lavishly
will define
funded,
his future
internationally
professionalism.
promoted,
The
and
incident,
carries
while
immense
seemingly minor in
prestige.
terms of the
Its
financial
role of
penalty,
champions
represents a
includes
significant
Novak
moment in
Djokovic,
Alcaraz's career,
Andy Murray,
potentially
and Roger
shaping his
Federer,
future conduct
all
and
of whom
public
used their
image,
victories
and offering
here
a
to
broader
build parts
reflection
of their
on the
legacies.
challenges faced by
Yet,
young athletes
even those
navigating the
icons at the
pressures
height
of
of their
fame and
powers
success.
often push
The
back
incident
against
also
the demands
raises
of the
questions
calendar.
about the ATP's
Rafael
approach
Nadal,
to player
plagued by
discipline and whether a
chronic
more
knee
nuanced
injuries,
approach,
frequently had to
balancing
skip portions
disciplinary
of the
measures
season
with
to preserve
educational
his
support,
career.
might be
Roger
more effective
Federer,
in fostering
especially
responsible
in his
behavior
30s,
among young
became
athletes.
famous for
The
tailoring
debate
his
surrounding
schedule,
the incident
at
highlights
times
the evolving
abandoning
dynamics of
entire
professional
swings to
tennis,
extend his
where the
longevity.
intense pressure and
Novak
high expectations
Djokovic,
placed upon young
despite his
athletes often
remarkable
collide with the
physical
realities of
resilience,
youth and the
admitted
challenges
that
of
the
maintaining
relentless
composure
grind
under
of the tour
intense scrutiny.
was one of the most difficult aspects of his career. If such legends, experienced, seasoned, and supremely conditioned, struggled under the weight of the calendar, what does it say that players as young as Alcaraz and Swiatek are already voicing alarm bells? The fact that they are confronting these issues at the outset of their careers underlines just how pressing the situation has become. That Alcaraz's absence altered the dynamic of the Shanghai Masters 1000 completely. Without him, one of the sport's marquee attractions was missing. Fans who had hoped to see another Alcaraz-Sinner duel, or the Spaniard's brilliance on the Asian stage, were left disappointed. The draw lost its brightest star, and with it, some of its electricity. But the bigger picture is clear. His decision wasn't only about Shanghai. It was a statement about the future of tennis, about how the sport must reconcile its commercial needs with the human limits of its athletes. As the debate grows louder, the sport faces a pivotal question. Will it adapt to give players more autonomy, or will it cling to a structure that risks burning out its brightest talents too soon? The conversation sparked by Alcaraz's withdrawal will not fade quickly. It represents a deeper clash of philosophies within the sport, between tradition and reform, between business demands and athlete well-being, and between generations. And in this moment, as the world of tennis looks toward the future, the voices of its youngest superstars may prove decisive in reshaping the path forward.